Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the most toxic teams back in the day, but of course all Pokemon actually got nerfed in this team, and this is something that we're going to take a look at here today as well. One of the Pokemon recently got a little bit of a buff again, but we're going to have the basically old school toxic team of having the Shadow variant of Bastion. You can also use the normal variant. It's a bit more classic to actually have the non-Shadow variant, but yeah, we have the Shadow one and I kind of want to try this one out again. We have Razor Leaf, Victory Bell, good old school meta Pokemon here, right? And we're going to have the Medicham not running Counter because Counter got nerfed, and we're running the Psycho Cut, which I actually didn't want to do. I really wanted to run Counter on this Pokemon. But if you take a look at the team, and if you're going to take a look at Counter Medicham, then you're going to realize very, very soon that this team definitely going to have a bit of a bigger issue against those apes, especially the Annihilate, as those are going to definitely go through the team. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky, but still we have a bit of play here, hopefully. Anyway, we're going to take a look here at this team. We're going to see if this team still works or not. As you're going to see as well here today, there is literally just the experiment if this team still works or not. We don't have anything cut out. We don't have anything like done 20 million bells. We just want to see, is this team still usable? And we will find out this here today as well. We're going to see the Blast Bomb coming through from the opponent, which is kind of unfortunate. I think I misplayed quite a few battles here today as well. I kind of want to analyze it as anyway with you so we can learn from my mistakes. But here the first game, we're going to have a draw, which is totally fine. We can move on to the next opponent. Amazing lead. So let's see on how we're going to be able to mess that one up. No, we're going to see here the swap out into the Victory Bell. We're going to have some nice fast move pressure, and this is a mistake by me. I should have went into my Medicham. There's no reason for me to go into the Victory Bell here, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, you're going to have now the Jump Love coming in here against us again. We had Ice Punch on the other one. We're going to be able to resist a rollout onto our Medicham and most one-shot the opponent with a Dynamic Punch. So this decision of going into my Grass-type Pokemon is mainly because I don't know the team as well, currently at least, against the current meta, because the meta definitely shifted quite a bit. And so I definitely should have done that differently. And this is going to give us now a very difficult spot, because guess what? We have to still deal with the Gastrodon. And at this point I have to basically call the bait here, which did not work out. We get the defense drop as well on top of it, and that's basically game over. If I play this battle out correctly, instant win. Like, I would have easily won this battle. So yeah, I feel like the first battle I could have won as well, so we could have been 2-0 already, but we actually one draw and one loss, which is down to me not playing the team correctly. Anyway, next issue, Medicham. What do we do against this Pokemon? We're going to have a weakness to this Pokemon on basically the entire team. This Pokemon was not around while this team existed, so this team basically, by the way, if you're on YouTube, PvP, this team kind of dominated with Counter and Psychic and Ice Punch Medicham. Basically, the meta for 15 seasons or something nearly. Like, this team was insanely overpowered, called like one of the most toxic teams that you can run. Was very expensive to build. You have some different variations of it. Sometimes you had, for example, the Sableye instead of the Victory Bell, or the Lickitung instead of the Victory Bell. Stuff like this all was kind of viable. You had also sometimes, for example, the lead of Medicham with the Bastion in the back. There have been a lot of different kind of variations of this team throughout the seasons. But yeah, nowadays you don't really see this team anymore. And we will see here today if this is for good reason or not, or we're gonna have, the matchup of Victory Bell against the Annihilate. Unlike Magical Leaf, which we took a look at very, very recently as well, this Pokemon here is going to do more fast move pressure, but doesn't really generate energy as fast. And so we will see here the opponent forfeiting anyway, and so we're going to be able to win the battle. This is another reason why I wanted to run Psycho Cut on the Medicham is Clodsire. And to be fair, I was thinking that this matchup is going to be kind of fine for us. Like, this should be fine, right? We have super effective fast move pressure. We're going to have super effective charge move pressure. The charge move got buffed recently, and we barely did any damage there. Like what? Like, sorry, but like, that's the thing as well. People think that Medicham is like this overpowered Pokemon that has like the craziest stats ever or anything like this. It actually did never have that. The reason why Medicham was overpowered back in the day was literally Counter. That was the entire reason. There was no other reason than Counter. And this is why you don't see Medicham anymore. Because while Psycho Cut is a very solid fast move, it just doesn't even get close to anywhere. By the way, Psycho Cut, in my opinion, a move that should get banned, I would say, should get buffed for the next season. Should also get banned. But other than Cresselia could be the one Pokemon that might be a little bit too overpowered with a buffed Psycho Cut. That's the only one that kind of concerns me. But even for Mewtwo, it would be really cool for the Master League I'm thinking about. But yeah, basically, the main reason why Medicham existed and was so strong was just because of Counter. And with counter being gone, this Pokemon is just not as great. Like, stat points are, I think, they at like 2,100 or something. It's decent bulk, but not amazing. Anyway, horrible lead for us here in the next game. Let's see on how this is gonna go. We're gonna be able to swap out into our Medicham, go straight for the Ice Punch, allowing us to get some nice damage onto the opponent. We're gonna two-shot them. They swap out into the Drapion. Again, here counter would have been better, but Psycho Cut at least gonna give us the energy generation that we need to go for that Dynamic Punch, doing a ton of damage against the opponent. We will see here the Crunch coming through, and we're gonna have the Ice Punch getting the CMP tile, which we're going to lose, and it's not worth it to use a shield here. As Alcor Tail is coming through, we're gonna swap out now, go for the full farm down with the Bastion. This should be fine. Let's see here, Aquatail is going to come through, going to do some solid damage still against us. We kind of have to rely on 2 shields on our Pokemon in the back, on our Victory Bell, and they're going to have a Dugong in the back. And I did not expect that here, basically, this matchup, for example, as well, would have been so much better back in the day. You would have been easily able to win this one as a Victory Bell, but with a recent damage reduction on Razor Leaf, this matchup is just gone. Like, it's over. Like, there is nothing that you can do here anymore. Like, we're not going to be able to realign ourselves, and this makes it basically impossible to win. Or is it? Yeah, it's gonna be a bit difficult. But yeah, basically back in the day, Razor Leaf did a little bit more fast move pressure, more damage on it, as far as I know, and it got nerfed recently. And with this, it's definitely, yeah, gone for good, like literally gone for good. And then again, I'm like thinking, could you not give Razor Leaf +1 energy generation at this point? Because it don't generate the damage anymore. It would have been, maybe it wouldn't be too overpowered with that one. I don't know. But anyway, we want to see the matchup against Wurstcash. We gladly take the nice farm down here from our Victory Bell. We're going to see the opponent swapping into their, Wigglytuff again, which is kind of nice for us because we're going to be able to go for a Leaf Blade, doing tremendous amounts of damage. And we're going to swap out into our Bastion, going for the full farm down. And we're going to be in a great spot because we still have our Medicham, we still have our health here basically on this Pokemon as well. The hardest answer for Medicham should be gone. It's going to be a Swampert in the back, and this should be a good game. Like at this point, well, yes, Medicham with Psycho Cut is not even close to the days we had counter with the buff basically still, like the old school counter is now generating energy a little bit slower. Medicham still should be able to put the opponent to a range where it can just spam the Ice Punch and just knock them out with it. The opponent knows it as well at this point, and they decide to forfeit. I've actually seen a little bit more of an uprise of Swampert again, which is kind of cool on general like Mud Boys, because a lot of people I think kind of underestimate Mud Boys in the current meta. Kind of maybe want to make another video about Swampert as well, but apparently there is an attack-weighted Swampert set that you can run currently as well, which I saw, that can win the 2-shield scenarios against the Feraligatr, I think because you win CMP tie or something like this. So that would be kind of interesting. I think it's a normal Swampert that you want for that one. But anyway, we're going to see the Clodsire matchup against our Medicham, and I was shocked on how bad this is for the Medicham. Like, look at the damage output that we do. Like, we barely do any damage against the opponent. Like, why is this the case? I'm not too sure about that, but as you will see here, the opponent can go ahead and go for a charge move again. We have to use a shield. Such Bomb is coming through. We can go for the Ice Punch here. I think it's a CMP tie as well. And yeah, we will see here that the opponent is going to swap out into the Quagsire. So that was not a CMP die, which is kind of awkward for us, because now they're going to be able to go back into their Clodsire if they want to. They're going to go into their Ariados, of course. And we're going to be in a scenario now where we are shieldless. The opponent is going to be in a great position to do a lot of damage against us. We can still go for a Leaf Blade at least to get the opponent kind of low, but we have to kind of rely on our Bastion to carry us throughout this game, which I'm not too sure if this is going to work out. We are kind of switch locked here, which is going to be really awkward. I know I can still survive this move here, but we have to kind of hope that maybe the Ariados can go down to the Medicham and the fast pacing that we have on this Pokemon, because any other way kind of doesn't have a chance here of us winning this battle. We will see Ariados coming back in. I'm kind of... Oh, I tried to catch the move here. This is also a way of winning this one, maybe. But you see here that the opponent is going to undercharge this one, trying to go for the full farm down. It does not work for them. And we will have here the Ice Punch connecting, knocking them out, and at least we're going to be able to win this one. So, what can I say about this team, about playing with this team, generally speaking here? I have to say, I don't think it's as bad as sometimes it's been shown here, because I feel like a lot of battles I could have played a bit better. Like, that's definitely for sure. The thing is, well, yes, we battled this team, or we played this team like for seasons basically. This is the first time I actually tried this team out in like I think 3 or 4 seasons at this point. And yeah, having Bastion with nerfed Smackdown, having Razor Leaf nerfed, and having now not counter on the Medicham makes this team feel completely like a different team. Towards this as well, we have a little bit of lag a lot of times in terms of when we swap in, we're gonna wait, like lose a turn. For example, here it looks like a little bit laggy, I think. There have been a lot of issues with this recently. And of course, doesn't help that the opponent has the Bomber Snow here in the back. But yeah, I do think that this team still has potential. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that this team is like bad by any means. But I do think it's of course not as consistent as they would want to. There are a lot of Pokemon that can be a bit tricky for this team. And so, yeah, we're going to let the move go through. It's going to be weather ball against us. We're going to see the opponent still get to another move here, which is kind of awkward. It is going to be this time around the energy ball, and we can move on to the next opponent. Second to last opponent for today. Let's see on how this is going to go. Here we want to see that they're going to have the Superior against us in lead, which is actually kind of a neutral matchup. But again, back in the day, this would have been a bit of a better one, as you would have had more fast move pressure with our Bastion. But here we're going to see the opponent having the Marowak against us, which is fine. We can go for the full farm down. We were maybe a bit slow at stopping out there, which was definitely my fault there at this point. Let's see what the opponent going to go back very late into the Superior exactly. As sadly don't get to the move in time here. Sure went for the Leaf Blade most likely just to get some guaranteed damage. I think this would have been way smarter. So again, maybe a bit of a misplay by me, because if we would have went for the Leaf Blade, the opponent maybe would have been in farm down range as well for our Bastion. But at this point, they are not even close to that, and so it is going to be a very tough battle for us. We have to hope that our Medicham is going to be able to outspeed the opponent. Okay, we have a bit of a lag. You saw me basically clicking onto my Medicham there before. I was hoping that this is going to be the aerial ace. It is not. And so, yeah, we are basically at a point where there is no way of us winning this battle here, I think, as well. Unless Medicham can kind of come back with it. But again, I feel like there were a lot of kind of unlucky things in there, kind of decisions that I should have done a little bit differently. And so I don't really want to blame the team the entire time. And you see me always being completely honest in my videos as well. If it's a me issue, if it's a game issue, if it's just unluck or something like this, you're always gonna hear that here as well in terms of how it went. And I feel like for this team, I maybe didn't play this team perfect. And that is something that I'm definitely honest about, and that's something that I don't really need to, talk around it or anything like this. I don't think that I played this team perfect. I think there are better ways of playing this team in terms of, just having some different decisions a lot of times in retrospective. But that's something as well what I always kind of told you as well. If you have a team that you think is great, just keep it and let's try to improve with it, even if maybe you have some sets that don't really go well. A lot of times it's a you issue and not a team issue. And for this team here, it's definitely a me issue as far as I can see. So like the opponents here usually have like, of course, like some normal teams. Niantic, yes, while there's some lag and while it's sometimes annoying, I don't think it really is that impactful here either. But I do think that the team still has some play. I do think that this team is not as great as it ever was. Of course not. It got triple nerfed, and it got triple nerfed for a reason, because it was absolutely busted. And honestly, like recently I'm thinking about it, especially like team building. I feel like team building in this season is quite tough. I feel like it is quite tough to not go for, I go for the flying type of Jump Love, and I'm gonna go for the Mud Snipers in the back. It is tough to have a bit of an original style to teams. And I feel like it was a bit easier back in the day, because you were not having those, like, I don't know, like you had like those Pokemon that were really strong, but they all have counters. Like Medicham had a lot of counters as well. While it was strong or whatever, even against a lot of the counters, it still was not really unbeatable. Which of course you don't really have here as well, but you need some specific Pokemon really in order to beat something like a Gastrodon. Like you need some flying type Pokemon, because Mudslap is just too oppressive on its own. And it's just something that I feel like there's not really the balance here yet in this season, but I'm really hopeful that the next update, which is supposed to be a bit of a bigger one again, is going to fix that. I hope that there are going to be some new moves coming in as well. One move, by the way, that I would really like to see, which we have to get into Pokemon Go anyway, would be Icicle Crush, which would be an what's called an Ice type move. The benefit of Icicle Crush is that there is a Pikachu form, just like Pikachu Libre, for example, having the Flying Press. There's a Pikachu form that has Icicle Crash. So yeah, this would be one of the moves I would like to see in the next season. Let me know down below which move would you like to see and newly added into the next season as well. Let me know down below, and I will see you then.